Welcome back. Well, as you can see, it's January, and it's 2023, so that means it's actually the 15-year anniversary since the worst mistake we ever made in our life. You know, my dad always taught me when I was younger that you always think about the consequences of your actions, and how they will affect your life and whatnot. Well, we're gonna learn today. I don't make these videos just to brag about all the stupid decisions that I made in my life. I don't need any bragging points or whatever. I really make these for you because I know that there's that 18-year-old kid out there somewhere, or that 20-year-old kid somewhere, or even that 30-year-old kid somewhere, or even that 15-year-old kid somewhere that has nothing and nobody, and they're alone on those streets, and they're addicted to alcohol, or they're addicted to drugs, and they just think that there's no hope. But if I lived through all the stupid mistakes that I made in my life and the stupid decisions and my alcohol problems and that, then you have hope. There's hope for you too. If I can make it through the bullshit that I put myself through, you can too. And you just gotta have a dream. My dream was always, the American dream which was nothing more than a white picket fence, a house, a dog, and a family. A family to love. And that was always my dream. It took me a while to get there, and I made a lot of mistakes, but sooner or later I got there because, I never gave up, and I always had hope, and I had the power of prayer with me. I've lived by a certain creed for very many of years, and it goes like this: mo friends, mo problems; no friends, no problems. If you really want to achieve your dreams, and, I hate to say it, but, sobriety is the way to go. A little weed, never really hurt anybody, but everything else has got to go. The fucking alcohol, the drugs. You got to be an individual. You got to think like an individual. Otherwise, everybody else's bullshit will just drag you down. Every once in a lifetime, you come across, a lifetime friend or a few of them. They're rare to come by. You keep those ones, but those ones, you just end up considering them family, But they're very, very far in between. So we'll put the story at about mid-December 2000, late 2007, in the first month, January 2008. Well, 15 years ago this week, I had a 1984 hatchback Chevy Nova. I was hanging out down around the Grand Casino, Gulfport, Mississippi, down along the beach and the old parking lot there. And I had just drank myself into an oblivion. There wasn't much going on in Mississippi. It was a couple years after Katrina, whatever. There was, a few jobs. I was working at an Arby's, and I had quit that. I had my one check, and I had one more check coming. And there was this little fucking weasel-looking dude down at the Grand Casino I'd met. He was a drinker, I was down there drinking, fucked it. I was on a 3-day fucking malt liquor binge, fucking drinking Hurricanes and King Cobras, and fucking... I think I was even snorting a little powder at the fucking time, but, yeah, I met this little weasel-looking dude. He had a fucking, like a rat tail. A real-life rat tail. I hadn't seen one of those since I was a kid in California. But he's like some 50-year-old fucking dude. He was like a fucking, little fucking crack pipe roller type fucking dude. But he was down there living in his truck, too. There was a bunch of people down there living in their cars and shit, because, whatever the fuck happened after Katrina. But so this guy tells me he's got property in Lincoln City. And I'm like, well, fuck, dude. I'm from Oregon. And I was drunk as fuck for about 3 fucking days, and it just sounded like, fuck, well, let's go. That sounds great. Let's get the hell out of here. So I sold my little Chevy Nova for $50 for gas money. I put my last little $130 check with that. I filled up his fucking tank. He had a little red S10 Chevy pickup thing, like a little extended cab, so there was a little bit of room in there, but it was pretty fucking tight. So yeah, man, so we're on a good old fucking binge. We're just drunk as fucking shit. I grabbed my shit and so when we fucking go. We booked it up the highway, Our first stop was in Baton Rouge. We stopped there and picked up a bunch of fucking powder, because where you get a bunch of fucking powder. And, we needed something for the fucking road, because there's no way I was driving from Mississippi to fucking Oregon. Already drunk on fucking King Cobras for 3 fucking days, So we stopped in Baton Rouge and, bought a bunch of powder there. Went to a fucking casino and shit. I saved that dude's life that fucking night, I actually saved his life. It's kind of a funny story, but that's another story, so, So we hit up Baton Rouge and we just keep going north, driving for days and days and days. You know, that the gas money was going pretty quick, and he said he knew where this shelter was in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So I was like, fuck it, well, let's go there. You know, because fucking there ain't no way we're making it all the way to Oregon with a little money we had. He had a Social Security check coming, like the first week of January. So the plan was to go to that shelter and wait for him to get his check in a week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever. And then we would just drive the rest of the way, you know. And there was a couple blizzards coming in, so we, you know, there's definitely no way we would have just been able to keep driving. And it was a great place. I mean, if you got nowhere to go, that's a good place to go. But they had went inside of it, like there was like a couple hundred bunks and stuff, and that was for what they called residents, and for people, like whenever you first check in, you would get to stay there for 2 weeks, and you would get a bunk and all this and that, and that's where but you'd have to go out at 7 a.m. and go, you know, fill out applications and do stuff, find work. And then there was a bunch of little mats on the ground, like all around all the walls, all the way to the whole area, and those were for the E-beds, because whenever it dropped down below, like, I forget the degrees, like below 27 degrees or whatever, they would open the doors for all the other homeless people around the whole city or whatever, you know, so they could come in and not freeze to death. And then they had inside there, they had a little living room with like a couple couches and just a couple lazy boys, and I was kind of in a big screen TV, and that was kind of like the kick it room and stuff, and then there was a soup kitchen out back, and you know, and so all the residents, if you're a resident there, you'd have to work in the soup kitchen and feed and wash dishes. You know, we had different chores. It kind of worked like an Oxford house. In Colorado Springs, a lot of stuff shuts down during the winter, and so there's a lot of people that kind of count on that every winter to go back to the shelter because there's just no work there. It's like a real touristy type, you know, atmosphere. You know, there's stuff going on in the spring and the summer, but in the wintertime, it just shuts down. So yeah, we got our residents in there, and this is about 8 days before Christmas. You know, about 2 weeks before he was going to get his check. And I make up my mind, you know, well, you know, I'm here to get my life together, and the whole reason I left Mississippi because I was ready to sober up, I was ready to change my life. So my plan every day was just to go to the library every day and, you know, either get on MySpace or look up, you know, the unemployment centers, mostly like in Oregon, because I was still planning on getting to Oregon and finding a job. So down the street from the shelter, there was a labor ready. So we can go there. So we can go there at like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning and sit there and drink free hot coffee and hopefully get picked for a job and get sent out and get daily pay. And they had an actual machine in there where you could cash your check. So you work one day, and if you got back by 5 o'clock, you could put your check in the machine and get your cash that day and have money. So that was the routine. Every morning I would go to labor ready, and if I didn't get picked for some kind of job, I would go to the library and sit there and look for actual jobs, real jobs that weren't, you know, day jobs or whatnot. And then just after that, we would just hang out at another park, because it was a park uptown, because you wouldn't be able to get back in the shelter. And if you're a resident, you could get back in the shelter at like 6 or 7 or whatever, and they would have dinner and whatnot. But if you weren't a resident, you would have to wait till like fucking it got below 27, and they wouldn't let people in until like 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. So yeah, dude. So me and dude weren't really hanging out much. We weren't getting along a lot. So when dude finally got his Social Security check, he fucking bounced. He just fucking left me there. So I was fucking stuck in Colorado Springs by myself. He was always mad and pissed off because during the drive, you know, all he wanted to do the whole fucking time was just sleep. And I was the only driver the whole damn time. I was driving his fucking truck the whole damn time, and he had a real bad time in Baton Rouge. So he wasn't really into snorting a little powder anymore, so he was taking a little break. But as we're driving through Texas, you know, that Texas sun, just Texas, you drive in Texas for days and days and days, and that mid-December Texas sun just shining right through that windshield. That yellow chunk powder was no match for that fucking Texas sun. I tell you what, man, I was nodding out. You know, I was up for like about 4 or 5 days at that point. You know, I took a small power nap in Baton Rouge, but fuck, dude. But I was nodding out at the wheel and shit, and he refused to drive. So I was like, well, fuck this, I'm getting my life together anyways. I fucking grabbed that fucking powder, fucking hucked it out the window in Amarillo, Texas. Right before Amarillo, Texas, you know? And I fucking never looked back, but he was always pissed off about that. Like the whole fucking, I didn't realize how pissed he secretly was the whole fucking time. And, you know, once he finally got his social security check, he just fucking bounced. I never fucking saw that dude again. I'd like to see him again, but actually I probably wouldn't, but he's probably fucking dead. Old crackhead dude. Whatever. Fucking weasel ass motherfucker. So yeah, he ditched my ass. He was just fucking always pissed off that I threw that powder out the fucking window while he was sleeping. Fuck him. You know, sometimes you just gotta make your own decisions, you know. So I was going to daily labor every day, labor ready or whatever the hell it was called. You know, I'd get picked for a couple of jobs. I started hanging out with this dude Israel, and he was, I swear to God, he was a Spanish twin version of my friend LB from Oregon, which is really funny. You know, I always say I don't really believe in racism because I swear to God, if you're black, then you've got a white twin somewhere, or you've got a Mexican twin somewhere, and if you're a Mexican, you've got a white twin somewhere, and you got a black twin somewhere, or an Asian twin somewhere. You know, everybody's got a twin somewhere. I swear to God, because I've seen it in different states. I've seen some people got 3 or 4 of them. I swear to God, man, we are so much alike. So this dude Israel, he's a little vodka drinker, man. All he wanted to do was fucking spend every dime he had on vodka. And I was really just trying to get my life together. So I just, you know, I worked with him. He was really cool to talk to, man. He's just a laid back fucking dude. So one day, me and him, we get sent to this car wash, and we just fucking digging up muck out of there and shit, out of their pits all fucking day and that shit. And they're like, man, you're a really fucking hard worker to me, you know? So I'm like, well, yeah. You know, I had 40 years experience working at a car wash in Mississippi. So I was like, fuck it, dude, yeah, man, I know what I'm doing. It's fucking December, and we're fucking washing cars in Colorado. Not a lot of people want to do that in fucking Colorado Springs at that time. Which is why they use daily labor, because, you know, they just, you know, abuse the shit out of us in that cold ass water. But I was desperate for work, so yeah, man, he offers me a job. So I fill out the application and everything, and fucking he's like, hey, fuck, dude, you're hired, man. You're great. You know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, man, dude, I'm looking around. I'm like, man, dude, Colorado's beautiful. Fuck, this is maybe my stop. You know, I didn't really have a destination in Oregon. I was just headed back to the streets, you know. My sobriety was my destination in Oregon. You know, why not make that here? Maybe I'll build my life here, you know. So, fuck, you know, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, fuck, dude, I got this job. You know, he takes my ID and shit, and he goes to the back. And he comes back, and he's like, hey, man, you come back when you got some decent ID, when you got a real ID. You know, like, well, what the fuck's wrong with that? And the problem was that I had Oregon ID that was expired by about 3 fucking years. In Mississippi, I had never even changed my ID or did any of that shit. He was like, yeah, man, sorry, dude. We can't do nothing for you. You can't even come back for daily labor. I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Yeah, I was just fucking crushed. You know, fuck. Yeah, I kind of had a couple beers in. I kind of broke sobriety. I think I was actually sober for like almost a week and a half. I just started back, you know, I was hanging out with that fucking Israel dude, and we just got some vodka after that, and fucking... The thing about the fucking shelter is when you drink, you can't get back in, you know, so... We actually had money, and we went and got a hotel. We fucking slept on the floor. So yeah, we get our hotel, you know, we do our little partying, you know, good old-fashioned 3-day vodka binge, you know, and at this time, you know, it's like middle of January. I'm no longer a resident in the shelter. You know, I'm a, whatever they call it. I call them the crazies. The people are let in the back door after 9:30. That's why I always called them the crazies. So I was officially one of the crazies. But I was still going to labor ready every day with my buddy Israel. You know, we're finding work every once in a while. You know, and mid-January is about a really bad blizzard coming in. A really bad blizzard. And you know, it was just cold every day. It was supposed to be like negative 20-degree winds and, you know, probably a high of 10 degrees during the blizzard and just a couple feet of snow or whatever it was supposed to be. And, you know, we get let out of the shelter, like always, about 7 a.m. We go to daily labor. Well, we drink our free hot coffee till about 10 a.m. And, you know, if there's no work by 10 a.m., then it's pretty much you're done. Everybody's been picked for the day, goes to work, and if you ain't been picked to the day, the only thing to do in that cold ass weather is to go to the library, because you ain't gonna sit outside all fucking day and wait for the shelter to open. But we just didn't want to sit outside, so fucking Israel, man, his dumbass, you know, he has this bright idea. He's like, well, let's go to the bar, you know, and I'm like, well, fuck, dude. And I think, you know, about what my dad always told me, you know, you always think about the consequences of your actions. And I'm like, well, if we go to the fucking bar, we're not going to get into the shelter tonight. And we probably had about enough money between the two of us to maybe get a hotel if we found one other person to kick in. So we take the chance, man. Well, fuck it, man. Let's have a couple beers. There's nothing else to do. You know, we can't go to the library. It's closed because of the storm. You know, the blizzard's coming in. It's already fucking snowing. It's already fucking freezing. So we just fucking order picture after picture and then another picture. You know how it fucking happens. I can't stop drinking once I start, you know. You know, I know now it has a lot to do with my diabetes problem, but back then I didn't fucking, you know. I just fucking drank on an empty stomach until I fucking puked, and I drank some more. I wasn't having a good time until I fucking puked a few times, you know. But that drinking on that fucking empty stomach full of labor-ready coffee was just, oh, fuck, that was a horrible fucking mixture. That was fucking TKO. But we had a good old fucking buzz going, and fucking, you know, time gets up. We spent half our fucking money. We didn't have hotel money anymore. But this dude, Israel, he knew some people from the shelter, and they're fucking, I knew from looking at them that they were fucking light bulb rollers, and I was like, well, I ain't fucking hanging out with these dudes. And he wanted to get a hotel with them. So I was like, no, dude, you know, I'm just fucking, you know, I'll figure it out. You know, I went my own fucking way. Because I had already made a decision. I wasn't going back down that fucking street. You know, so so now it's me. I'm all fucking alone. I'm walking around fucking town. This fucking blizzard's coming in. There's fucking snow coming in. And I waste some hours, and I waste some hours. And I go to the 7-Eleven uptown. And I buy some Wrigley Spearmint gum. And I get a fucking toothbrush and fucking some fucking mouthwash. Some non-alcoholic mouthwash. And I do all that, and I try to cover it up and shit, dude. And I just fucking hang around town until fucking 9:30, just freezing my balls off, just waiting, fucking praying, just praying, please let me in the shelter tonight, please. So 9:30 finally rolls around, and you know, I walk down to this fucking shelter. You know, the fucking line is goddamn, you know, a couple 100 feet long. There's just tons of fucking, you know, just fucking homeless people down there waiting to get in. And I'm watching the line, and this security guy, he looks like that vampire off that fucking Addams Family movie, whatever the fuck his name was. But this dude was pretty fucking cool. He's always really fucking cool security guard. I never had a problem with him. But he checks everybody's name in on this, you know, little fucking clipboard or whatever, and fucking, you know, and sniffs everybody to make sure they're not drinking or, you know, or are on drugs. You're not allowed to be on drugs or nothing. But if you're on coke or something, you can get away with it because, you know, you can't prove that. So, you know, all the fucking coke heads and meth heads going there all fucking night long, you know. But so I finally make my way up to the line. And he's like, name? And I'm like, you know, he knows my name, right? So he writes it down and he goes, come on, man. You know I can't let you in. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. This is, oh, shit. Like, oh, fuck, dude. I'm gonna fucking die, dude. You see, look at this shit. I'm gonna fucking die, man. Come on. He's like, yeah, I can't do it, man. I can't let you in. Can't do it, man. I smell you from here. You gotta go, man. Sorry. So I'm just like, holy fucking shit. Fuck, dude. I got absolutely nowhere to go. I heard there's another fucking shelter way uptown, way up on Nevada Street somewhere, but I'd never been there. He wouldn't let me in the shelter. You know, I look around and everybody's just, you know, just looking at me like, everybody's just stunned. Like, fuck, dude, that dude just got a death sentence, you know. You know, Colorado Springs, people were just fucking, you know, people were fucking popping up dead left and right. You'd always hear, like, almost every day you'd hear about somebody dying at that fucking shelter. Or some homeless people being set on fire or some fucking crazy shit. Those homeless people, man, they go through some shit in Colorado Springs, man. People are fucking coming up missing every fucking day. Being set on fire and shit by gangs of people. Yeah, well, I wonder who those gangs were, but I'll never know. Never happened to me, but you know, you're not really supposed to be sleeping on the streets and shit. That was back then. Fuck, it's different now. But that kind of always made the homeless people, you know, just kind of hide and be out of sight, you know, because if you don't fucking hide under a bush, you might like set on fire while you're sleeping. So yeah, so I don't, so I just fucking, you know, I pick up my bag of clothes. I had a little bag of clothes, and I just fucking, you know, I start walking. Like, fuck, what am I gonna do now? You know, the snow is about halfway up my calves, you know, almost to my knees. You know, I'm just walking around town, you know, and it comes up to fucking, you know, I'm just walking, stomping around, looking for places to block the wind and block the ice, and you know, I'm covered in snow, and I'm just fucking freezing. About, you know, 11:30 at night, I was like, I find there's a police station. And I find a police station I stumble upon, and it's the only thing that's open. You know, every house in sight's all fogged up and iced over and closed down, and you know, there's no traffic anywhere. But I see a light on this police station, a big old police station. I was like, well, screw it. What are they going to do? Take me to a nice warm jail? So I just go inside there and I hang out in the lobby for about an hour, man. I just fucking defrost in there. I'm like, fuck it, dude. These people are cool. They ain't gonna bother me. They understand. I'm gonna fucking die out there. They don't want to pick at my body tonight. I'm just sitting there chilling, just twiddling my thumbs, you know. Fucking, my fucking buzz had been long over. I just had a fucking worst fucking headache and shit. And the cop, the little lady at the desk, she's like, sir, what are you doing here? I'm like, sir, you gotta go. You can't just sit here, man. I'm like, fuck. Like, really? You can't just take me to jail? Please? I can't do that, sir. You gotta go. You gotta go. So, fuck, man. I turned around. So I left and I just walked that fucking walk of shame out of that place. And start stomping around town for another couple hours. Just fucking freezing, man. That snow was getting worse and worse. And that fucking wind was just fucking... You know, my hands were fucking freezing. I had to walk around. I had to keep switching. I kept putting one hand down my pants, and I had my little plastic bag of clothes in my other hand. Plastic bag of clothes for my buddy Sean. Sean or Sean? I don't know if it's Sean or Sean. You know, when you're down in Mississippi and you're a little white boy, you can't just, you know, be, you know, asking people, like, and how do you spell that name? You know what I mean? I don't know. But that was a cool fucking dude. But he had given me a bag of clothes in Mississippi. You know, so I had some of that clothes, you know, and there was like 2 pairs of these LeBron James jeans. They had big old leather number 23 on them, and they said James on them. I've never been a basketball fan, so I don't really know. But, you know, I knew they were expensive pants, but I was able to wear 2 pairs of sweatpants under those because they were just so fucking big, you know. So that kind of kept me, you know, it kept me all right, but I was sweating, you know, and I knew that, you know, if I sweated a lot, I'd have hypothermia. But I had 2 pairs of those LeBrons. So I had one in the bag, and there's a couple of shirts or whatever in there. But I didn't want to lose those because I knew they were expensive jeans, and I could fucking, you know, maybe I could sell them to somebody or do whatever, or just fucking wear them, you know, you never know. So I'm just fucking walking around town, you know, in my little fucking bum bag of fucking, my little fucking garbage bag full of fucking clothes and shit. And I'm just walking endlessly in this fucking storm. Like, what am I gonna fucking do, man? I'm gonna fucking die. Holy fucking shit. And then sooner or later, I see in the distance the glowing light. And I look at it. And it's a 7-Eleven. There's an open 7-Eleven. I'm like, well, that guy must, you know, he must walk to work or something because everything else is fucking dead closed. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. You know, I don't really have a choice, but I come up with a plan. So I walk inside that store, and I'm just, you know, I'm going to take a couple minutes and just warm myself up and just scope the place out and look at this fucking dude and fucking, I see what I'm looking for. And I'm about defrosted at this point, so I'm like, you know, it's your time. And he was closing down at 12 o'clock for the storm. I guess it was a 24 hours, so when they were closing. I had a note on the fucking door when I walked in, but so I grabbed 2 24 packs of Mickey's, and I start walking towards the counter, and I'm just staring him down in the eye, and I'm looking him right in the eye, and I'm walking real slow with these 2 cases of beer. And he's looking at me in the eye too. And he's like, and I'm like, and he's like, and I'm like, so I walk slowly and I walk slowly and I'm looking at him. And I put my back up against the door. I'm just staring him down. And he's staring at me. And I turn. And I walk out the door. And I'm thinking to myself, just call the cops, man. Fucking call the cops, please. Just call the cops. And I walk outside, and that snow and that ice just hit my face like a fucking, and I'm just kind of wiping it off with my shoulder, and it was just like fucking glass. It just stung, and I get halfway out the parking lot, and I turned and I looked, and he's just locking up the door. And I could barely see inside of there, and he's just all calm, just like, and I'm like, and he goes and counts up his till and shit, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Oh fuck now. I swear, I turned and I started walking. I swear that had to be that was the most loneliest 30 seconds of my life. I looked out, I saw all that fucking beer. I was like, holy shit, man. And I was like Jack Nicholson in that original Batman movie. Well, if you gotta go, go with a smile. And I started that death march. I just started walking. I started walking towards Nevada because I knew that's where fucking all the crackhead hotels were at, way the fuck on yonder, a couple miles away. Oh, about 2-3 mile walk or whatever, I think. And I just started walking and walking, looking for a closed business or something, somewhere to crouch down in. Maybe I could find like a heater vent or something to warm up. Because I remember being homeless in Estacade, and we used to get on top of the high school roof, and they had some fucking heater vents up there. We used to fucking, we survived up there a couple. I had all that fucking beer. I started my little death march. And I stopped, and because I had to stash my little bag of clothes out in the snow before I went in the store. So I kicked a little hole, and I shoved one of those 24 packs inside the snow. I was like, fuck it, dude, I'll come back and get that later. I couldn't carry 2 fucking things and my bag of clothes. I started my little death march, and I said to myself, you really did it this time, old boy. You fucking did it this time, old boy. That's what he says. Whenever I was close to death, that's kind of what I would always say to myself. You fucking did it this time, old boy. You really did it this time. Man, I just start fucking walking. I'm just looking for a closed business or something. Some place just to fucking sit and fucking drink my beers and fucking, whatever may come, may come. Put it in the hands of the Lord. You know what I mean? So, I'm like hunkering down in bus stops and trying to drink beer because I'd actually filled my pockets up with some of those beers from that 24 pack that I had stashed in the snow. But it's just fucking freezing, man. Just walking around looking for a place to go, and fucking, I come across this embankment. You can't see too far because it's just fucking white out, but I see this fucking embankment and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. We'll walk down that hill. And, hopefully that'll block some of the fucking wind, and at least, I won't get in trouble for breaking into some business or some stupid shit, because my record was pretty clean at that time. It had been about 6 years or whatever since fucking, 6 or 7 years from any trouble that I hadn't esticated that was way behind me. Because I had been good for so many fucking years trying to get my life together. That stealing beer was a fucking hard decision. I felt like it was a life or death situation. And I'd rather take a misdemeanor than fucking death, It didn't work out. So I come to this embankment, finally, and I walk down it, and it's fucking, it had to have a snowdrift, it was up to my waist in that snowdrift. But I walk down this little hill, and I'm like, well, shit, what am I gonna do? I got all this beer, it's gonna fucking freeze, maybe I should, build a fucking igloo. And, make a little fucking snow nest. And maybe I could sit on my beers like a fucking chicken and keep it from fucking melting. You know what I mean? Fucking sit on my fucking eggs. But that's kind of what I did. I kind of, dug kind of a big square type thing into the hill that kind of was a wall, and like whatever, and the fucking snow was so tall that it's kind of was on both sides, but it was just fucking cold, and it wasn't stopping that fucking wind from coming in or that fucking snow. But I had a plan. My plan was that, I would just drink all night and stay buzzed. But the problem with the fucking beer that I stole is that in Colorado Springs, the only kind of beer that they sell inside regular stores, you got is 3.2%. Because you got to go to the liquor store to get anything stronger. So I had stole a bunch of bullshit fucking beer. So, so I would have to drink. So I would have to drink enough to stay up all night pissing. And if I drank too less, then I would probably fucking pass out with a full fucking belly of bullshit fucking beer and piss my pants. And I might make it through the night, but Jake the Snake surely wouldn't, And if I didn't drink enough, I might just pass out and never wake up. Most likely, I would pass out and just never wake up because it was that fucking cold outside and shitty. So my plan was just to fucking drink all night and piss all fucking night. And if my calculations were correct, I would need to drink 5 beers an hour. 5 beers an hour and 1 piss every 20 minutes. And that would keep me going all night long. And that's how I would survive. So I drank and I pissed. And I drank and I pissed. And I drank and I pissed. And then when my beer was just fucking frozen, and I was done. I didn't have anything left, and I was about to give up. And I walked to my little fucking, walked to take my last fucking piss, man. And I'm looking through this fucking blizzard, and I just fucking, God damn it, man. God, please help me. And I look through this fucking blizzard, and I see death. It's the doorway to death, and it's shaped like this. And I look deeper into death, and I'm like, God, fucking please take me. And I look a little deeper into death, and I'm like, a fucking bear cave? A fucking bear cave? Yeah, a fucking bear cave. So I get a little adrenaline rush, man, and I gotta fucking get up. I fucking honker over there, stomp the fucking snow down and shit. And sure enough, it's a fucking culvert. It's like a 6 foot tall fucking culvert. It's like fucking 5 feet wide, 5 or 6 feet fucking wide. And there's like a frozen creek that goes through it. And a lot of the rocks are sticking up because it's maybe that creek's always fucking dry. But there's a good fucking a foot of water. But it was all fucking frozen as shit. So I had a fucking culvert to sit in. So I fucking went in there and fucking hanging out and shit and fucking, I'm feeling fucking better, but fucking, my beer's still fucking freezing. I found a couple in the middle of the fucking 24 pack that still had a little in them. But those didn't last long, and fucking, it just got fucking, that fucking culvert, I knew from living in Estacada, hanging out at the culvert there and going through that little tunnel that, it blocks a lot of fucking weather. But that fucking metal is just cold as fucking shit. And it was just fucking cold. And my fucking beers were freezing. And I was still on an empty fucking stomach, The only thing I ate that fucking day was that goddamn coffee at the fucking labor ready. So I just sat there and I drank my beers. And I just sat there and fucking... It was probably about 2 a.m. And I just had nothing left the whole time. I had been pissing in the fucking culvert because it was just too cold to go out in the storm and fucking piss. And that fucking culvert went forever. I don't know what the hell else was in there. I was hearing noises and shit way the fuck down there, but I fucking wasn't gonna look. I don't know what the fuck was in there. But so I walked into that culvert and cracked open my last cold one before I became a cold one. And I go out there and I'm pissing. And I'm looking through the fucking storm, man, and it's just fucking, it still ain't letting up. And I couldn't see shit. I couldn't see further than 10 feet in front of me. And I just pray to God again. Fucking God, please just fucking help me. What am I gonna do? Not even a few seconds later, I get done with my piss and I put little Jake back in this fucking little, And I'm looking through the storm. And I see these lights. I see these lights in the distance. And it's a snowplow. And it's going down the freeway. What was just a closed down freeway all night. You know, I hadn't seen a light on it all night. It must have been closed or something. But I saw a snowplow, you know, and I mean, you know, bum gonna be like, hey man, can I get in your car? You know, some fucking, ain't nobody gonna let some homeless bum in their fucking snowplow. But as the snowplow's going by, I'm looking and I see these, you know, flickers. You know, I'm like, well, there's got to be trees. You know, there's trees over there. I see a pine, so I'm looking deeper. And I'm like, that's a pine tree, and that's a pine tree, and that's a pine tree. So I get another fucking little fucking adrenaline rush, man, and I'm like, dude, fucking walk over there. You know, they had been fucking. I think I had to cross this frozen creek to get to them and back up and around and whatever. And this fucking, I was like, fuck it. I just fucking, I grabbed my little bag of clothes that I got from Sean, and I fucking was busting a fucking trail through this fucking snow that was up to my waist, over to this fucking pine tree. I get under this umbrella snow covered tree. So I reached up the tree, and I grabbed the first branch I saw, and I kind of pulled down. I was like, please, and it snapped. And I grabbed another branch and it snapped. And then it clicked. And I said to myself, bitch, you're from Esta motherfucking Cada. So I grabbed another branch and it snapped. And I grabbed another branch and it snapped. And it clicked and it snapped. And then I piled up my fucking branches. And I made my way back to my fucking Culvert of Consequences, my little cave of fucking death. And I grabbed my fucking boot and I ripped it off and I pulled my fucking sock off and the top half was still fucking dry. I shoved my hands down my pants and I was fucking trying to dry off my fucking fingers and my pubes and warm them up, and I fucking was trying to fucking light this goddamn fucking lighter and I couldn't. Goddamn fucking safety on these fucking lighters, man. And but I finally got the corner of my fucking sock lit on fire. Grabbed that plastic bag of fucking clothes and I fucking ripped it open. And I saw right there that big fucking leather 23 and that big fucking leather James. Those fucking LeBrons I got from Sean. I fucking pulled those motherfuckers out. And I held those LeBrons above that fire. You know, I kind of fucking huddled over the top to kind of block the fucking wind and fucking the snow and shit. And they caught on fire, and I fucking put all my little fucking branches around that shit, and I built a little fucking teepee, and I grab all my fucking beers and I set them all out to defrost and shit. And I'm like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna fucking make it. So I drank beer and I pissed, and I drank beer and I pissed some more. And I pissed some more, and I drank and I pissed some more. Yeah, I had planned on making that fire so big that they would have to take me into jail. You know, they would have to take me to jail, you know, because it was right there in town pretty much. But, you know, I'm fucked. You know, sitting by the fire and getting drunk in the cold was nothing new. You know, from the back was Esta motherfucking Cada, you know what I mean? So, you know, that kind of fucking upbringing really came in handy. You know, my dad, you know, I could build a fucking fire with my eyes closed growing up in those backwoods, you know. So, I finally fell asleep about 5:30 a.m. And I woke up in just a fucking pile of muck, man. My fucking fire was out. Fucking everything around me was fucking frozen. There was fucking feet of snow, but this little fucking circle of a fucking nest with my fucking beer cans everywhere, and me I was fucking sitting in a puddle of fucking muck, man. And it was just fucking cold again. But I knew that shift change happened at 6:30 a.m. at that fucking shelter, 6 or 7, whatever it was. And that's when they let all the homeless people out to go fucking smoke their cigarettes and all that shit, you know, and they fucking breakfast is served at 7 and whatnot. So I was like, fuck it, here's my time, man. I fucking made it through the night. So I booked up that fucking hill and all that snow, and those fucking LeBrons got left down there. The ones I had were just fucking soaking wet and fucking, you know, it's fucking a mess. But I get to the shelter and everybody's outside smoking their cigarettes and shit, you know. I bum a cigarette off somebody, fucking people looking at me, you know, and they're fucking they're talking. But I see 3 fucking dudes, you know, they finish their cigarettes and they go to walk in, you know. So in the morning they open the front doors, you know. At night it's the back door everybody tries to get in through, but in the morning it's the front door because they don't know who the hell's in there, you know, in the morning because you know, it's shift change and ain't nobody trying to get into the shelter in the mornings, you know. Well, except for me, of course. Dude, you know, I walk right behind these dudes and kind of pretend like I'm with them, you know, and I fall right into them, and I go past the administration desk and I'm fucking in. And this place is just fucking crowded. It's fucking loud. There's fucking people everywhere, and there's fucking mats. They were, you know, all the mats, because it was fucking hella fucking overstocked. You know, it was full to the brim that fucking night. Everybody in town must have been there, but there was all kinds of fucking mats up against the wall and shit. So I just kind of walk over there and I fucking set my little fucking beanie down and shit, kind of claiming the mat for mine. And then I'm starting to notice, like, people are looking at me. They're pointing and shit, and that's that guy. You know, everybody in there thought I was fucking dead. They had made bets on me and shit. You know, because so many people just end up dying out there. It's, you know. And then one by one, you know, these people, they just start, all these fucking homeless people start walking up to me. And, you know, they're kind of getting closer and shit. And they're talking about me. And one guy walks up and he hands me this fucking folded clean towel. And he kind of walks away, and this other guy comes over, and he walks up to me, and he fucking hands me these folded up red sweatpants that said CCI, you know, Colorado Corrections Institute, because that's kind of, you know, that's kind of what that place is, a revolving door for those people. And they kind of form a circle around me, you know, all these fucking homeless fucking angels. We're walking towards the shower area, and we had to get past the administration, you know, because that fucking camp smoke, dude. That whole fucking shelter smelt me. Dude, I made that whole fucking shelter reek, man. Because those burning fucking jeans and all that shit all fucking hovered over all goddamn night. That plastic smoke, dude. I was smelling up that whole fucking shelter, man. Everybody fucking knew. Everybody knew. You know, and I knew I just fucking reeked alcohol. You know, I had no business being in there, but. So yeah, they formed a circle around me and fucking kind of, they're like walking me to the back towards the bathrooms and shit and the shower rooms. And we get past the administration desk and nobody notices me. They're fucking kind of looking around and shit, trying to figure out where, you know, because people are like, fire, fire, you know, fire, fire. You know, but I'm like, oh fuck, dude, it's me. And then I get into the shower and shit, you know, and they fucking. One dude hands me a fucking plastic bag, and I just fucking rip off those LeBrons and my 3 fucking pairs of sweats and everything else I fucking had on me that fucking stunk, and I fucking threw that shit in the fucking bag. And he fucking handed that bag to somebody else, and they fucking took it out the back door. And I just sat down in that fucking shower and had the best shower of my fucking life. I swear to God, that was the hottest fucking shower of my fucking life. You know, I swear to God, for years after, you know, I still had a drinking problem. I still had a little drinking problem for years after, but I'd always, like, whenever I got real fucking drunk and got to spins, I would, like, end up going to my shower and passing out in there on that fucking drain and flooding my bathroom and shit. And I think that's part of the PTSD from that fucking night that does that to me. You know, but, you know, I quit drinking. I've been sober for well over, you know, pretty much 10 years. So, you know, I've been pissed to bed in, you know, 9 years. I saw a post the other day. I was like, oh, congratulations to me. Super proud of you. But yeah, I was just sitting in that fucking shower, man. Just the best fucking shower of my life. And it was a real you know, people when they, you know, you ever hear about when somebody has a clarifying moment. You know, that was one of my clarifying moments where I'm just like, dude, you're gonna fucking die if you don't quit drinking and if you don't change your fucking life. You can't fucking do this anymore. That was the fucking stupidest thing I ever fucking did. You know, and I knew better. I knew not to fucking drink because I knew I wouldn't be able to get in that fucking shelter. And I knew we'd spend all our fucking money on alcohol. I knew it was a stupid, you know? I knew. And that's the stupidest thing about it. And I didn't get sober right away, but, you know, I definitely started working towards it. You know, I started talking to my friend Sarah back in Oregon, and she was in an Oxford house. She was in an Oxford house at the time. You know, she was there. She had always been there for me. She was there back in the fucking the pop can shuffle days. We used to go to her fucking. She used to let us come over and take hot showers and shit. You know, I kind of spaced on that when I did that story. I feel bad, but yeah, she was in sobriety at the time. You know, she was telling me about it. Man, we got these Oxford houses in Oregon. You know, and fucking, you know, sure enough, you know, I wouldn't get there till around July. You know, we got a couple more stories to tell, but yeah, sure enough, I'd get into sobriety, and you know, that decision changed my life when I finally made it there. I always say that I'm kind of agnostic or whatever. I'm a strong believer in Christian values, so and I support that, right? Whether I believe in God or not, I have a feeling God, it's one of those nights where, I know God had to have been with me, you know, and whether or not I might think I'm agnostic or whatnot, it's the power of prayer that got me through that night. No doubt in my mind. Well, that and a lot of fucking beer and a lot of pisses. A lot of beer and a lot of piss. But it was the power of prayer that got me through that night. And I reserve that right as a free American. And that's what that means to me. And a lesson here, to my beautiful children, and to any homeless kids out there, always think about the consequences of your actions. Don't follow the herd mentality. Always think for yourself. Let those idiots go do their stupid fucking things. Stay away from alcohol and drugs. Be smart. Think think as an individual. Like I said earlier, mo friends, mo problems. No friends, no problems. Most people follow the herd because they're just too stupid to think for themselves. The funny thing about it is that fucking Israel dude. In about 2011, I ran into him in downtown fucking Portland, of all places. And he was just doing the same fucking shit. He was down there fucking begging for fucking vodka money. And I was down there in my fucking 93 white fucking Cadillac and shit. And I was down there at Social Security office or something getting my card. And I see him, he's just fucking bumming for fucking vodka money. Sitting on the fucking sidewalk. He's fucking tore up, man. Doing the same old fucking shit, And he fucking, I fucking pull out a big old fucking wad, dude. I was selling hella fucking weed at the Mexican apartments behind the high school at the time. And working, I really had I was fucking balling at the fucking time. I gave him $100 fucking bill. And then I got my white Cadillac and I fucking left. you know? If I hadn't changed, if I hadn't made a decision to go with him to that fucking crack house that fucking night, I'd probably still be sitting on the fucking sidewalk next to him begging for fucking vodka money. Or I'd be dead. It was a harsh decision to go fucking out on my own and risk that fucking storm, but in the end, here I am. White picket fence, beautiful fiance, a beautiful daughter, a dog, and a fucking cat, and some fish. Till next time. So that's where the shelter was right there. It's something different now. The library is like uptown, up in here. Here's that little park right there people hang out at. The library's right around here. And down here, the little cop shop was like right around here. Then I was wandering down in here through all this fucking snow. And 7-Eleven was down in here somewhere. Somewhere around in here, I forget where. But like, right here at the end of Sierra Madre. The shelter's right there. And then down here on this corner, and this goes down a little hill right here to this trail. And now it's coming down this road through here. When you zoom in. Right there. Right about there was where my little culvert was. Right about there, and here's where I got all my wood. I finally seen that, because I was over here freezing. That's where my culvert was, and here's all the trees. And at the end of Sierra Madre, there's that frozen creek I was stomping through. And that's where I saw that snowplow. There's downtown Colorado Springs. I made it from here through Texas, up through Mount Amarillo. That's where all the powder got ditched out the window. I made it here. Only had that much further to go. I could have made it. Probably not. It was a hell of a fucking drive. There's me, standing outside that library. Colorado Springs. 2007. There's those LeBrons. Hey, congratulations. You lived to 2023.